Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Let's get started. So we're looking at grammar and modality devices today. And these are our aims and outcomes. So by the end of this session, you must ensure you have subject-verb agreement in your writing, use tenses correctly, know how to position articles correctly, and know the basics of their use. Use pronouns correctly as subjects and in the possessive form. You should understand how articles are used with uncountable nouns. Use pronouns correctly as objects. Understand how to make collective nouns agree with the verb. Understand how an indefinite article can change to a definite article. Use a limited range of modality devices, and you could use a wide range of modality devices. So what do you need to know at level 2? So you should be secure in the level 1 skills, singular and plural, subject-verb agreement and plural rules, and all entry-level skills. So you're expected to be able to use grammar skills to add to the effectiveness of your writing. Your tenses used in your writing should be 100% correct. To get top marks, your subject-verb agreement should also include use of agreements for pronouns and collective nouns. So that's what we're going to look at. So we're going to start with a video. So I'll share that with you now.
Subject-verb agreement. The subject and verb must agree in person and number.
Number refers to whether a subject and verb are singular or plural.
The singular subject needs a singular verb, and a plural subject needs a plural verb.
Whereas most plural nouns end in S, most plural verbs don't.
And the opposite is true. Most singular nouns don't end in S, whereas most singular present tense verbs do. Example:
The elephants drink from the watering hole.
Plural subject and plural verb.
The elephant drinks from the watering hole.
Singular subject and singular verb.
This is fine if the subject of your sentence is a noun, but if it's a pronoun, I, she, it, you must consider person. Third-person pronouns behave like nouns.
Singular pronouns, he, she, and it, take singular verbs, and the plural pronoun, they, takes a plural verb. However, all first and second person pronouns, I, you, and we, take plural verbs. Examples:
I walk to Lisa's house.
We walk back together.
You walk with us.
Two singular nouns or pronouns joined by and create a plural subject and need a plural verb. Example:
Mark and Diana visit the house every Sunday.
Be careful. The S rule does not apply to all present tense verbs. The verb be has 3 present tense forms. Examples:
Elephants are the largest land-based mammal.
A mouse is one of the smallest.
I am somewhere in between.
To recap, a singular subject needs a singular verb, and a plural subject needs a plural verb.
Third-person pronouns he, she, it, and they behave in the same way.
First person I and we, and second person you pronouns always take plural verbs.
So let's look at the difference between singular and plural verbs. So what should the verbs be? So we'll read the sentence and then you can decide which of the choices it should be. So the office shuts at 6 today, or the office shut at 6 today. Which one should it be? So if someone asks, what time does the office shut? Would the reply be, the office shuts at 6 today, or the office shut at 6 today?
Shuts.
Shuts, well done. So the office is a single noun and the ending of the verb is with the S. Parking bay 3 is reserved for the director, or parking bay 3 are reserved for the director.
Is reserved.
Well done. She need to bring some ID, or she needs to bring some ID.
She needs.
Needs, good. So we've got a singular pronoun there, she, and we're using the singular form of the verb, needs. They is taking a holiday, they are taking a holiday, or they am taking a holiday.
Are.
Good, well done. And Jenny and Joe work at a supermarket, or Jenny and Joe works at a supermarket.
Work.
Good, well done. So we've got two, sorry about that. So we have two people, so each person is a single person, but because they're joined with and, we've got more than one person. So we're using the plural form of the verb, work. So for this one, we're going to look for which sentences have the correct subject and verb agreement. So some of them are correct, some will be incorrect. Let's see if you can spot them. So, number 1, I am working late tonight. Is that one correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, well done. Okay, the spreadsheet is on the desk.
Correct.
Correct, yeah. They was going to send the parcels today.
Wrong.
What should it be?
They were.
Good, well done. We are fixing the machine.
Correct.
Good. I were at lunch from 12 until 1.
Wrong.
What should it be?
I was.
Well done. The security guards goes to work at 9.
Wrong.
Yeah. What should it be?
Go.
Good. Well done. So any questions about that? So,
No, thank you.
okay, I've got all of those right. We're going to watch another video about verb tense.
Verb tense.
So I'll just share that with you.
Tense. Texts are written in 3 tenses. Present, showing the action is taking place now.
Past, showing that the action has already taken place.
Future, showing that the action will happen in the future.
We use verbs or action words to show which tense a text is written in. Each tense can be written in a number of ways to show slightly different meanings. Let's look at the present tense first. Examples.
Jack walks to college.
Using an S ending. Jack and Fiona are walking to college.
Using is or are and the ing verb ending.
Jack and Fiona have walked to college.
Using has or have and the ed verb ending usually.
Now let's look at the past tense. Examples.
Jack walked home again.
Using the ed verb ending usually.
Jack was walking home again.
Using was or were and the ing verb ending.
Jack had walked home again.
Using had and the ed verb ending usually.
Finally, let's look at the future tense. Examples.
Jack will walk to college tomorrow.
Using will with the main verb.
Jack will be walking to college tomorrow.
Using will be with the ing verb ending.
Jack will have walked to college by 9 o'clock.
Using will have with the ed verb ending usually.
Be careful with the ed ending. Most regular verbs take the ed ending, but watch out for the verbs that don't. Examples.
Marcia drove.
Marcia drived.
The bricks had fallen over.
The bricks had falled over.
To recap, texts are written in 3 tenses: past, present and future. Each of the tenses can be written in a variety of ways to show slightly different meanings.
Any questions about the video?
No, thank you.
Okay, so let's look at verb tenses. There are 3 main tenses, as we saw there, and the verbs show the tense that a text is written in. So the past tense shows the action has already taken place. So it's describing something that has already happened. Joe caught the bus to work. Joe was catching the bus to work. Joe had caught the bus to work. The present tense shows the action is taking place now. So it's describing something that is happening now. Joe catches the bus to work. Joe is catching the bus to work. And the future shows what will happen in the future. Joe will catch the bus to work tomorrow. Joe will be catching the bus to work tomorrow. Okay, any questions about those examples or about tenses? Oops. Okay. Right, so this text has not been written correctly. The use of tense is not consistent. So let's have a look at it, and I want you to tell me what corrections are needed. Dear Mrs. Singh, further to our telephone conversation a moment ago, I was pleased to attach my CV. You will see that I have completing a range of business administration qualifications and am well qualified to work at Smith & Company. I was in charge of a team of admin staff in my current job. I have been working for Browns for 5 years. They have been a great company to work for, but I am now interested in gaining promotion and skills with another company. So any errors that you can spot?
I have completed.
Good. So here we should have completed. You will see that I have completed a range of business qualifications. Good. Before that, there's an error before that. Further to our telephone conversation a moment ago, I was pleased to attach my CV.
I'm pleased.
Good. So this should be am. Okay. So I was in charge of a team of admin staff in my current job. So he's talking about what he's doing now. So the present tense.
I'm in charge.
Good. So the was should be am because he's talking about what he's doing right now, what his job is now. So I've been working for Browns for 5 years. They have been a great company to work for, but I'm now interested in gaining promotion and skills with another company. Okay, so well done. So we've got another video to watch, this time about pronouns. So I'll just share that with you.
Pronouns are used in place of a noun that has already been mentioned. If we didn't use them, a text would soon get boring. Example. Lara was 26 years old. Lara worked as a chef, although Lara had trained to be a hairdresser. If we substitute the proper noun Lara for she, the text becomes much easier to read. Lara was 26 years old. She worked as a chef, although she had trained to be a hairdresser. Personal pronouns can be singular or plural. I and me, or we and us. He, she, him, her, it, or they and them. The second person you is the same whether it's referring to one person or a whole group of people. Personal pronouns you and we are used extensively in persuasive texts to make the reader feel they're being spoken to personally. Example. Our caffeine-based drink will give you wings. There are also possessive pronouns. Mine, yours, hers, his, ours, theirs, its. Unlike nouns, you don't have to use an apostrophe with a pronoun to indicate possession. Example. The lion licked its paws. There are also reflexive pronouns. Myself, himself, herself, itself, ourselves, yourselves, themselves. They are used to refer back to the subject of the sentence, often a pronoun that has already been used. Example. I can fix the washing machine myself. We can look after ourselves. Answer the following. Which of these sentences uses pronouns correctly? Make your selection now before I reveal the answer. 3, 2, 1. The answer is B. You don't use an apostrophe with a pronoun to indicate possession. 4 skills for lifelong.
Any questions you have about pronouns? Okay. So pronouns are used in place of a noun, as we saw in the video example, to avoid repetition, and they are singular or plural. And you can see the singular and plural forms there. So possessive pronouns, so when you're talking about something belonging to somebody, we use mine, yours, hers, his, ours, theirs, or its. And reflexive pronouns are used to refer back to the subject of the sentence. So often when a pronoun's already been used. Myself, himself, herself, yourself, itself, ourselves, themselves. For example, you can go to the shop yourself. So we've got another example here, and you need to find any errors. Ian Applin has been the manager of the Castle Hotel for 3 years. She oversaw a £10 million refit. Our overall aim was to respect the most iconic areas of the hotel. People visit our hotel from all over the world to experience its old world charm. My want, a blend of the old and the new. Ian and his team have worked tirelessly to create a new look. With rave reviews, we agree that the refit is a total success. So any errors there? Okay, if we look, I'll show you the first error. What's the error here? Ian Applin has
Should be he.
Yeah, it should be he.
Yeah.
Because Ian is a man's name, so it's a man. Our overall aim was to respect the most iconic areas of the hotel. People visit
Were.
our hotel. Does that sound okay? Okay. People visit our hotel from all over the world to experience its old world charm. My want a blend of the old and the new. So what should my be instead? We're talking about the people who are visiting the hotel. So instead of the word people, what pronoun should we use?
They.
They. Well done. So the my should be they. Okay, well done. That's it for that. Ian and Tamika were working late with Tom and I. So we're going to replace the pronouns. Replace the nouns with the right pronoun. So Ian and Tamika were working late with Tom and I. Ian and Tamika, what pronoun would we use instead?
They.
Good. They were working late with Tom and I.
With them.
So Tom and I. So you're talking about yourself as well.
With them.
Not them.
No, with us.
Us.
Sorry.
Good, well done. That's all right.
Sorry.
That's okay. The floors need... Oh, let's get rid of that. The floors need cleaning, but Tom and I were too busy to sweep the floors. So we're going to change Tom and I to
We.
Well done. And the floors, because we've already mentioned the floors at the beginning of the sentence.
Sweep them.
Them. Good. Why was Raj late for the meeting with Becky yesterday? So what should we change Raj to?
He.
He, good. And Becca?
Her.
Good. Well done. Kate said the breakage was her fault. So Kate,
She.
so she said, so the breakage.
It.
It, well done.
It was her fault.
Good. Well done. Perfect. Collective nouns. So a collective noun is is one name given to a group of things. So it could be a family, an organisation, a team. And some examples: a pack of dogs. So pack is the collective noun. A bunch of flowers. So bunch. And a class of students. Class there is the collective noun. You don't need to learn lists of these collective nouns, but if you are using them, then your grammar must be correct. If the collective noun refers to the group as one unit, then it takes a singular verb. Today, the class takes its exam, because it's talking about one group of students, the class. So it's one group, its exam. Class takes are singular. All members of the class will be taking the exam at the same time. But if the noun is referring to the individuals in the group or the parts that make up the group, then the verb should be plural. After the exam, the class start their speaking and listening presentations. So class, start, and their, which is spelled incorrectly there, I've just realised it should be their, E-I-R. So class, start, and their are plural in that sentence. The students will be starting their own speaking and listening presentations. Okay, so can you see the difference there? So in the first example, the class refers to the whole group doing something at the same time. But the second example is referring to the individual students within the class doing individual speaking and listening presentations. So let's have a go at correcting the subject-verb agreement. The committee is undecided.
Correct.
Yep. The stack of papers is on the table.
Correct.
Yeah. Everyone wants to work here.
Wants.
Good, well done. A majority of shareholders want the merger. Yeah, that's right, yeah.
That's correct, yeah.
So we're talking about the majority. So a group, the wants is referring to the majority of the shareholders, this group here of the shareholders. The team are in London this week.
Wrong.
What should it be?
Is.
It's good because all of the team are doing the same activity. They're all going to be in London. The gang of workmen are late.
Wrong.
Wrong. What should it be?
Is.
Good. Well done. Okay, so we're going to move on now and look at articles, and not articles as a text, because obviously we can have magazine and newspaper articles, but we're looking at articles as part of what we write, part of the grammar that we use. So let's have a look at these jokes, these sentences, and decide what the purpose is of the underlined letters or the underlined words. A horse walks into a bar. The barman says, "Why the long face?" What's the best thing about Switzerland? I don't know, but the flag is a big plus. What sits at the bottom of the sea and twitches? A nervous wreck. So what function do the underlined words have? It's even though you might know, it is actually quite hard to describe. Let me just. So let's have a look. Okay, so our text is missing there. That's not very helpful. Okay, so the purpose of articles, so the underlined letters, words are a and the. And these articles indicate whether a noun is general or specific. So are we talking about any horse or a particular specific horse? So if you think about the first sentence or the first joke there, the first example, a horse, it's talking about any horse, just so that you imagine a horse. And a bar, general bar, it just wants you to imagine those things. The barman says, so we're talking about the barman in this particular bar, so it's a specific barman. The barman says, "Why the long face?" Because we're talking about a specific face, the horse's face. So in the second example, so what's the best thing about Switzerland? So we want one specific thing. So if it's the best, it's got to be a particular thing because it's the best one. So I don't know, but the flag, so it's talking about the Swiss flag, so it's a particular flag, is a big plus. So it's one of a number of big pluses. So let's have a look at the rule for articles. So if the specific identity of what is being, the noun that's being talked about, for example, a chair, if that is unknown, then you would use a for a countable noun. So a countable noun is something you could say, oh, there's one chair, there's two chairs, there's 20 chairs. For an uncountable noun, so something that comes in, there's so many individual items that make it up that we can't put a number on it. So something like rice, sugar, we would not use an article. So we'll look at some examples in a moment and look at the use, and it will become more clear. The specific identity is known. So for a collectible noun, we use the. For an accountable noun, we use the, and an uncountable noun, we use the. So the rice, the chair. All things or things in general. So we don't use an article. So we could be talking about trees and we might say trees lose their leaves in autumn. So we're just talking in general about all trees. Uncountable nouns as well would also have no article. Rice is great to eat. So we're just talking about rice in general. So we don't use an article. Let's look at this in a bit more detail. So we're looking at the position of articles, where they go in the sentence. So if we're using an indefinite article, so we're just talking in general rather than about a specific noun, it goes before the noun. A horse, so it's a horse before the noun, the a. A horse walks into an animal-friendly bar. The barman says, "Why the long face?" An indefinite article, an, is before a vowel sound. So an umbrella, an old man, an hour, and here animal. So an animal. And something else to remember here is that adjectives, so the word describing the noun, the adjective can go between the article, which here is an, and the noun, friendly. So an animal-friendly bar, the animal is the adjective, and it's going between the article and the noun bar. So animal-friendly is the adjective, bar is the noun. The barman says, "Why the long face?" So the definite article goes before the particular noun. So we're talking about the horse's face. Okay. Any questions there about the position of articles? Okay. So how to use them? So we use a to introduce a new noun. It could be any horse in this example. It's non-specific. A horse walks into an animal-friendly bar. An is used in the same way as a, but because it's before a vowel sound, it is an rather than a, but it's serving the same purpose. And at the end of this example, the horse's face, it only has one face. We know he's talking about the horse's face, so it's specific, which is why we use the. So another example here. What's the best thing about Switzerland? I don't know, but the flag is a big plus. So it's starting here using the with the first example of an article in this example. The best thing. So if it's a superlative, which means the best, the greatest, the worst, so it's the most extreme, the superlative, it will use the, because only one thing can be the best. It's not generic. So what's the best thing about Switzerland? I don't know, but the flag. So we're talking about the Swiss flag, so it's now specific. There is only one flag of Switzerland. And it's a big plus because there could be a number of pluses, so it's non-specific. And something to note here is that names, such as country names, don't take an article, so don't have the or a, unless they are a number of states or areas. So there are a few, such as the Philippines, the USA, the Netherlands, where they use the, but generally country names, don't use an article. What sits at the bottom of the sea and twitches? A nervous wreck. So there's only one bottom of the sea. So we use the, and a nervous wreck. It's non-specific, so we use a. So as we can read there, established or unique things like the sea, the sky, the sun and the moon take the. So there are some rules to this. So when an indefinite article becomes a definite article. So if you use an indefinite article, a or an, to introduce something, it will then become something we know and thus take the definite article after. There is a tree in my back garden. The tree was planted by my father over 30 years ago. We introduce the tree with a or an because it's a new thing to us, but we then know which tree we're talking about, so it then takes the definite article. But uncountable nouns take no article when introduced. I heard a tall tale about rice last night. I don't think there was a grain of truth in it. Rice is uncountable, so as I mentioned, it's a plural thing that we can't count how many grains, so we talk about it as an uncountable noun. But the grain, a grain, because we're talking about one grain of it. Once the rice is introduced, we may use the to be specific. We had curry and rice. The rice was delicious because we're talking about a particular amount of rice. So the definitions. To introduce a new countable noun, we use a or an. To talk about a noun previously introduced, we use the. For superlatives, the best, the tallest, and so on, we use the. For countries made up of parts or states, we use the. So the United States, the Netherlands. Most countries do not have an article, and non-specific uncountable nouns like rice have no article, but unique things such as the sun, the moon, the sea, we use the. Okay. Modality devices are tools we use to change the degree to which we do something. For example, Tommy will walk his dog when he gets home. Tommy will probably walk his dog when he gets home. So there's a difference in meaning there. And it's called modality, which is the writer is able to tell us about the possibility or desirability of something happening. So he definitely is going to. Probably, he might do, he might not, but it's likely that he will. So there's a mix of adverbs here on the screen, and they express the possibility that climate change will get worse, but how strongly do they express that possibility? So I want you to look at those for a moment. Imagine they're in the gap and then place them on the line. So imagine you were going to place them in order. What order would they come in? I just want you to have a look at that for a moment and just have a think about that yourself. Okay, let's have a look. So we can see there that the adverbs that we choose will change the meaning or the likelihood of climate change getting worse. Climate change will definitely not get worse. It's very different from climate change will definitely or will possibly get worse. Any questions about that? Okay. So another example, you, and then we've got a blank space, become a vegan, Pete. So again, have a look and decide which is the most likely that will happen to the least likely. Okay, so you mustn't become a vegan, Pete. It's very different from you must or you will become a vegan, Pete. So we can also use phrases to express modality, to express possibility and desirability. So for possibility, the examples we could use would be, it's possible that, it's likely or unlikely that, it's more than highly likely that, it's out of the question without a shadow of a doubt, it's doubtful that, it is capable. And the desirability examples, it's suggested that, it is advisable to, the best worst way is, it seems sensible to, that was hoped for, all our worst fears, it was an acceptable outcome. So there may be others you can think of as well. Okay, so come to the end. Let's have a look at our understanding. What do pronouns do? So A, B, C, or D? So which one?
D.
D, well done. They take the place of nouns. Which shows the correct subject-verb agreement? Which one of those do you think is correct?
D.
The crowd of peoples is leaving the building. So we don't usually
Oh
use
no!
peoples.
No! There is S on people.
A, yeah, good,
Okay.
well done.
Sorry.
So peoples is a funny one
Yeah.
because we wouldn't normally use peoples. It's
Yeah.
people is the collective.
It's
So you will hear it in some context. Well done. What is the future tense?
D.
D, well done. Action that is going to happen. Which shows the correct use of tense? So well, they're all starting with yesterday, so we're looking for the past tense.
C.
C, well done. Yesterday the printer ran out of toner. And again, which uses the correct pronouns?
D.
D, well done. Okay. Any questions? We've come to the end this morning. Any questions about what we've covered? If you go to the online learning platform, so you'll need to contact the office if you don't have a login for that. But if you log on and go to your courses, there are exercises for you to practice and to go over what we've learned today and what we learn in each session. You can also use websites such as the NCFE website and BBC Bite Size. There's a lot of learning content on the BBC website, BBC Bite Size it's called, and if you look for functional skills level 2 English, then you'll be able to practice some of what we've learned. Okay, so thank you for your contribution. Thank you for coming to the lesson this morning, and I hope you have a good week.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.